She always has something up her sleeve.
Myself have always been for lowering the voting age to 16. I think it's really important to capture kids when they're in high school, when they're interested in all of this, when they're learning about government.
You're a foul one, Mr. Grinch.
This is the Monster Jammer KSG, and this is SOCKS. That's the way it is, and this is what it is. Everyone see one of these? You know, these cover your cough, wash your hands type signs. You see them in a lot of places, a lot of public places. They have them. They've been around for a very, very long time. It isn't anything new that someone should, cover their cough or wash your hands. You say that to your children a lot of the times. I know I have grandchildren, and my children tell their children all the time, hey, cover your mouth when you cough, because that's what we taught them. Cover your mouth when you cough. I was taught that growing up as a kid. Cover your mouth when you cough. Wash your hands. Just keep yourself clean. It's the way it is. That way you don't get germs. You don't pass on germs. Should be old hat for anyone. It really should be. But apparently it seems like it's something that is out of the impossible. It's not a coincidence. I was planning this video since last night, and then today I believe I got a tweet from Deplorable TD, one of the folks that I follow on Twitter. I follow a lot of patriots on Twitter. And he sent me, this. This was on the feed. And it's an article that came out yesterday, I believe out in Wisconsin. And they found 3 tubs of mail-in votes that were lost. When was that primary? I completely forget when it was. Well, anyway, I'm going to leave a link below for this one. And I'm glad I saw it. Shout out to Deplorable TD. Yeah. These things occur, but it's part of the grand scheme, I believe, because, as you know, good old Nancy wants to have mail-in ballots. One of the things that she wants to put in the next coronavirus bill, because she feels that, we should have mail-in ballots because we are in the middle of a pandemic, quite an epidemic that we're in right now. And she's looking to do this, to keep people safe. That's her. So she says, she always says she looks out for the people. You notice that? It's for the people. It's for the children. It's for this. It's for that, But we know what it's really all about. It's about just wanting to have control. And we know that good old Mr. Biden there, just doesn't really have what it takes. And the left will do anything right now. Right now, major stream media, I always talk about them because they don't ever cover anything. They're not ever honest about anything. They just kind of wing it not really wing it. I shouldn't say wing it. They're very fully prepared to give you misinformation. That's what they're good for. Right now, we're looking at numbers being pumped over the deaths on this situation, which is very sad that they would take advantage of this kind of thing, but that's what they do, and they don't cover what should be covered, but yet they inflate things, and it's fear-mongering, just to pretty much say it simply. It's fear-mongering. We have an Oregon rep, what's his name, Walden, and he knows that this nationwide voting by mail would be a recipe for disaster. That's what he says, in an article that was written of him or about him, or he, those were his words, a recipe for disaster. We know it would be a recipe for disaster. There is no doubt that it would be a recipe for disaster. Yeah, good old Nancy. She also wants to put funding for the post office in this new bill, or they come to it. Because you got to pay some people off, so put money into the post office because you got to pay somebody off to lose votes, or just like it did in Wisconsin. When was that primary in Wisconsin? They just now discovered 3 bins. So imagine, you got to pay somebody to look the other way. That's the way of the world. They gave $25 million to the Kennedy Center, and who's on the board of the Kennedy Center? Valerie Jarrett and I believe Susan Rice. They're both on the board. $25 million to the Kennedy Center, but yet they laid them folks off. Oh man, people wake up. The thing is, when it comes to liberals, check this out. They are so, gung ho for the people that represent them, but they don't realize that those policies that these folks put together affect you too. Don't think that they put these policies together and it only affects conservatives. It affects you too. All you gun grabbers out there, anti-Second Amendment, understand that if they take one, they will take them all. That's just the way it is. You might laugh at your neighbor because they took away his Second Amendment, but you know what? The Second Amendment allows you to say no. That's what it's for, to say no. So understand that you want to keep backing these people because you hate that man up at that White House so much. Sometimes you got to put your hate to the side and really, look and see what it is that you're fighting against. Because what I said it before, all them policies will affect you also. So think about it. Higher taxes? Biden said it. He will raise taxes. How else is he going to pay for these other folks that aren't even legal in this country to have benefits? With our money. Yeah, your money. Not just conservative money. Yeah, Democrat money. Think about it. You want to feed your family? Or you want to feed somebody that's illegally crossing? Ready to commit whatever heinous act that anything's possible. Okay? Think about it. I tell you what, I don't doubt there is something. There is always something. Every year there is something. Back in 2009, we had the swine flu, the H1N1. And I don't remember the country shutting down then. Actually, I remember that the administration then pretty much dragged their heels, before they actually did anything. But the WHO was around back then, WHO, and article that was written, it says, World braces for possible pandemic. This was on Saturday, April 25th, 2009. Under the rules of the International Health Regulations, the Director General of WHO declared the 2009 H1N1 outbreak a public health emergency of international concern. Will we lock down then? Did they do that then? Hey, did they say we're going to have mail-in voting then? No, I guess not, because we already had, one of them guys in office. You know who it is. Okay. On April 26, 2009, the United States government determined that a public health emergency existed nationwide. CDC's Strategic National Stockpile, SNS, began releasing 25% of the supplies in the stockpile that could be used to protect and treat influenza. They had a stockpile then? How come we didn't have a stockpile then? Oh, that's right. Because I'll leave you broke and I'll bomb you. Depleted everything. That's what it was. It was depleted. It was never replaced. But they had a stockpile. But remember my other video? It was Fauci's job, I guess, to get it all back together again for this country at least. WHO, said that. That was the H1N1. It's pretty amazing that these kind of things occur. Let's look at statistics from the CDC. When it comes to regular flu season. Here it is, 2019-2020 U.S. flu season preliminary burden estimates. Look, 39 million to 55 million flu illnesses. Okay, and that's possibly those that are reported, because how many stay at home with the flu? 18 million to 26 million flu medical visits, 400 to 730,000 flu hospitalizations, 24 to 63,000 flu deaths. I believe this is for the United States alone. I'm reading this correctly. What do we have now today? Unfortunately, today we have 16,034 worldwide that we have lost to this. I pray for all the families that have lost a loved one. However, it could be less than that, because we hear that they're pumping numbers. We know that. They're pumping numbers. But they don't cover the things the way that they should be covered, because, they'll leave you blind to the facts, because that's what they do. You're blind to the facts so that you will fall into a trap. That's their game. I talk about it all the time, folks. You know that. You would think that they would just digitize it, all right? Digitize it, because that's what that other fella, good old Gates, wants to digitize everything. Now, the thing is with mail-in ballots is that, of course, there's a lot of fraud involved. When President Trump was talking to good old Jim Acosta about it.
Something you were saying yesterday about people going to Wisconsin and voting in the middle of this pandemic, I mean, really putting their lives on the line.
Risking their lives. Now, let me tell you, if Jim was really that worried about people risking their lives, would he be sitting there? Think about it.
And you said, well, if they do that, vote by mail, perhaps we'll have voter fraud in this country. I just wanted to ask you, voters in 5 states, Utah, Colorado, Hawaii, Washington, and Oregon, all vote by mail. Can you or the White House staff or your campaign provide any evidence to back up your claim that mail-in voting is rife with fraud, like the example you gave of people working in rooms filling out false ballots?
Jim knows that there is fraud in this.
We've been talking about what happened since the beginning of this administration.
Very fair.
And where's the evidence of it?
I think there's a lot of evidence, but we'll provide you with some, okay? And there's evidence that's being compiled, just like it's being compiled in the state of California, where they settled with Judicial Watch saying that 1 million people should not have been voting. And you saw that? Did you, wait, excuse me. Well, I'm just telling you. I'm telling you, in California, in the great state of California, they settled, and we could have gone a lot further. Judicial Watch settled where they agreed that 1 million people should not have voted.
California is a Democratic state, and it's a Democratic state by no accident. It's because a lot of voter fraud takes place there. It can be looked up. You can look it up. You don't have to take my word for it. You can look it up. You'll find it, that there was a lot of voter fraud there. That's actually good old Pelosi state. So you know that she knows how to get this thing done. I'll tell you what, a real snake in the grass. That's what she is. But let's go on with CDC statistics once again. You know, here's another chart here that you can take a look at. Look it up. This is on their website. The information is out there. It's been out there. Nancy, in the beginning of this video, 16-year-olds to vote. 16-year-olds to vote, really? You know, they don't teach government in schools, because if they did teach government in schools, everyone would be awake. Actually, you know, I hate to say that awake, woke stuff. Everyone would be aware. Everyone would be aware, and no one would be bitten by rattlesnakes if they taught government in schools. But they don't teach government in schools. They took prayer out of schools, so why would they teach real government in schools? They don't teach you the real thing there anyway. It's all fake and phony, you know, leave you blind, make things easy to swallow. Everything is socially acceptable. And if you don't accept it, you got to be some kind of phobe. Yeah, because you're not allowed to have morals. Definitely. Oh, no, can't have that. Can't have morals. That's non-existent anymore. Because you have morals, it makes you immoral. Do you know that's where the world is today? Of course, that's where it's at. The bad guys are the good guys. The good guys are the bad guys. You can't tell them apart anymore. Oh, my goodness, where are we going? Folks, we got to be aware. We got to be awake. We got to see what's going on in this world. We got to stick together. We're not going to do this mail-in vote thing. We're not doing it. No. I want to be there. I will cover my cough and wash my hands. We have a flu epidemic every year. The only thing is that it's just not ever reported the way it should be reported. You got to go read it. But they're pushing this thing. So worldwide, 16,034 deaths today so far when I last looked. Whereas with regular flu season, you could be anywhere from 24,000 to 63,000 flu deaths. Fear-mongering. That's what it is. I pray for each and every one of the families that have lost a loved one throughout this whole situation. Anyone that is ill, I pray quick healing for them. And I pray for all you patriots, brothers and sisters out there, that God may hold on to you, keep you well, bless your families during this holiday time, because we brought in Passover, my wife and I and my father-in-law last night. And I know many folks are getting ready to celebrate Easter. I pray blessings over the holidays for you. God is in the heart. God is in the home. They may try to take our civil liberties away and say that you can't go to services or whatever, but you know what? It's like the end of the Grinch. Remember at the end of the Grinch who stole Christmas? He stole everybody's decorations, their trees, their gifts, and they stole everything, but yet they still came out and they celebrated anyway. Because it's in the spirit of things. It's in the spirit of things. So keep your spirit alive. Pray to God. Love one another. And let's stick together. Baruch Hashem. and have a great, great day.